All right, guys. Welcome to the Team Phoenix call. Let me get the window on me. Welcome to the Team Phoenix call. My name is Megan Eggleston. I am the founder of Team Phoenix and the 10-star Diamond, two-time elite coach. If you are new to the team and don't know me or the leaders that I'm going to introduce you to, thank you for being here tonight. Welcome to Team Phoenix. We appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to learn with us. It is my it is my goal to make sure that these calls are very valuable. I do not do fluff calls. These are going to give you, these calls are intended to give you guys training and useful applications for you to grow your businesses. So I do respect your time and thank you for being here. My husband is out of town tonight, and we had kind of a busy evening, so I don't have help with bedtime. So what's going to happen is I'm going to introduce these ladies and mute myself so I can put my little girl down, and let the leaders take over because they have a lot to share with you. So first things first, I just want to congratulate, and I put a video out there yesterday, but I do want to congratulate you all again for whoever's participating in the Team Cup. It is such a, I mean, those are huge business builders, huge business sparkers. If that is not something that you take advantage of this time, I strongly encourage you, if you want to, build a business, to get on a team. They have team classics. They call them Team Classic. They call it Fall Classic, depending on what it is. So they happen periodically. So there's not like a real rhyme or reason when they happen. But I do strongly encourage joining a team in the future if you did not or were not able to make it. So let me introduce you to the ladies who are going to be sharing with us tonight. So the topic is they're going to share what they learned at the New Leader Conference. If you're unfamiliar with that, what that is, no worries, it's a new thing. And this is the second year, I believe, that they have the New Leader Conference. And it is an invitation-only conference. It is those that are invited have to earn. They have to have a special qualification to be able to attend. And you go one time, you're not able to return to that conference. It was introduced last January. It used to be just a leadership retreat in the fall. The first year I went, it was just a leadership retreat. But they introduced that next January, the New Leader Conference, and they upped the qualifications for the leadership retreat, which I would not have earned if they had those same qualifications. So I would have actually gone to the New Leader Retreat if that's what was in existence at that time. But being welcome or being invited to this conference is a big deal. It doesn't just mean that they've achieved a certain rank. It means that they are leaders. It means that they are measuring certain metrics that indicate you are duplicating in your team. You are teaching your team the business and duplicating your systems. So these ladies here are, they really know what they're doing. They really know how to lead and how to run this business. And they have the honor of learning more, to getting more training, special training, and hearing from the corporate management, like the CEOs, all the people that make Beachbody what it is. And having been to these type of events, it is such a special experience. So I'm putting it in your ear right now to consider making a goal to attend that conference next January. 2-star is the minimal requirement as far as rank, but then elite points are also something that they look at for qualification, and that just means we're helping your team hit Success Club and build their businesses. So I want to put that on your radar, that it's a very special thing. I'm sure they're going to share with you how wonderful and amazing it is to sit there and listen to these amazing leaders share their tips, and to listen to Carl Deichler with his passion and mission just really light you up. It is special. We are just so fortunate to be part of a company with as much heart and passion as they do. So here, I'm going to just introduce their names. We have Katie's going to share with you first. Katie Arhan, our two-star Diamond Premier Coach. She's going to share with you first. Then Jen McNeil, our 7-star Elite Coach. and then Andrea Stevens, our 5-star elite coach. So we are so fortunate. I say it all the time, how fortunate we are to have tremendous leadership on their team. It's not just me. Like, I learn from these girls all the time. They teach me stuff all the time. They're incredible, and they are so generous. And something that I've learned is the more you give of yourself, the more abundance you'll find. There's this whole like scarcity mentality that like there's not enough success out there for everybody, but these girls are proof that that's completely false. They are super generous with their resources and their tools. They give back so much to this team, and they continue to succeed. So I'm very fortunate for their leadership on our team, and very fortunate for them to take time tonight to share with you all. So I'm going to shut up and turn off my audio and my video and listen in. But I don't want you to, hear us over here taking care of bedtime. So thanks for being on, and I'm going to pass it off to Katie.
All right, hi guys. Hope everyone can hear me. This is the first webinar I've done, so it's kind of new to me. But so I'm Katie Auerhahn, and we are so it was probably the most amazing event that I've been to, and every event has been amazing, so that says something about it. I have to tell you, we went to headquarters. You probably saw our pictures, and that was, it was just amazing to see where everything comes from, where all the big wigs work, and their offices are just as cool as you can imagine. I was like, I wonder if I should stop being a coach and go work at headquarters, but because it was so cool. It was awesome. So I'm going to start off by talking about Carl Daikeler. He kind of kicked off the entire general sessions, the learning experiences, and incredibly passionate. To hear him speak, I can't even describe his passion to you all. We see it and we know it because we all feel it about Shakeology and the workouts and sharing what we know, and just spreading the word all the time. But to hear him and to see him, it is just emanating off of him. He believes this. It's not just the CEO who is trying to make money and grow this into billions of dollar a huge company. He really is passionate about what he does and what he's doing. So he talked a lot about how solution, and when we have a purpose, it's not just about the wealth that will come, and we provide that complete health and financial solution to people. So it's sort of lead with your heart, and the financial piece and the wealth piece will come with it. And he really he believes that. He spoke about how he met with some famous sports clothing company CEO. He didn't tell us who it was. He's like, you guys will all know who it is. And he said he was so turned off because he was just this guy was so money driven. That's all he worried about. And it really hit home and to my team and to you all, because if you are driven completely by the financial aspect of this, then I don't know if it's going to work for you. And I think that's sort of my biggest takeaway from Carl is that he really and truly his heart is in this, and it's not completely about the money for him. And that's not to say that that's not to say that money is not important and feel bad about making income. It just leading with your heart and keeping that fire in your heart about why you started. So that's kind of the little Carl Daikeler's talk in a nutshell. He was absolutely amazing. It was the best way to kick off the whole lecture. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is the leadership ladder. If you haven't had a chance to look at your leadership ladder, I encourage you to do so. If you click onto your online office, it should be, and you look where you have your little success code points and your home direct, if you have the little 90, if you've met that requirement. At the top, there's a place where you can click on your leadership ladder, and then you can go through and look at all the sections. Now, I'm going to try to share my screen with you all. Okay, I'm going to screen share. is how I do it. I like to share. None of that. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. Share.
Yay.
Can you see? Did you see it just now?
Yeah.
You can see it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the leadership ladder, and I want to look at it with you guys, with all of you guys. So basically, it is a way to measure how you're doing as a leader, and at the New Leader Conference, it's almost better than rank. That's not to say rank's not important, but you really need to be looking at your leadership ladder, and this is how you will grow your team and grow your income. Okay? So if you look at the top, the commissions along the top, so most of you are probably business starters, maybe some team builders in there, and it kind of, as you go across, it sort of shows you what you want to be working on. So commissions, like how much you're earning each month. Success Club, are you in Success Club 5 at least? If you go over to Team Builder, you can see, like, that's where it starts, you know, you have to be an Emerald or higher. Then the fourth column down, the PS with 1+ Success Club points, a point a month. So that's something you want to be watching. And then your week leg value. You can see the Team Builder has 200, and then you move up to 5,000, 15,000, and so on, higher and higher. Now, I really like this because as I'm, you know, I look at this and I'm like, where do I need to work? Where is my weak spot? Like my weak leg volume, I know I need to be building that. And maybe my my PS coaches, how many people have Success Club points, and that's going to help you. That's going to help you if you want to hit Premier or Elite or whatever you want to do. So I really encourage you to kind of look this over, see where you fit in, see where you are, and what you need to work on. Because sometimes you might see like you have 4 sections where you're ready to move up to the next column, but you have a couple sections that are lacking. And that's where you know where you need to work. You know, if you need weak leg volume, you need to work with the coaches on that leg, or it's a good place for you to, you know, start adding more coaches. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. And see where you fall. Oh, what does BP stand for? Somebody asked. Okay, that is bonus points. I looked this up last night so I would know. It's basically how much money you're making every month, but they're putting it in what they call bonus points so that people in Canada will be able to figure out, you know, because their currency is a little bit different. So it's basically how much money you're earning each month. Okay. What else? Oh, the FAQ 9539 for all you FAQ fans. That's where you can read about stuff. I look at my leadership ladder every day. It's really interesting to me for some reason. And you kind of try to work for the next, you know, for the next rung up. Right now, I'm working for the organizational, the organizational. So I know that I need to have one of my weak spots is I need to get 2 of my coaches to team leaders, like the team leader rung. So I'm kind of seeing what they need and working with them to see how they're going to get there. So it kind of benefits everyone. So that's the leadership ladder. That's all I've got for you. So I guess I'll pass it on to Jen.
Yeah, can I start talking, or does Megan need to do something for me?
I hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. So following up with what Katie said, my weak area is often my weak leg for that. I'm heading towards the organizational leader too. But I just want to tell you, it looks like those jumps in volume of your weak leg are enormous. But over time, as you're building your teams, it just sort of happens naturally. So don't freak out when you're looking at that, especially when it goes, I think, from 5,000 to 15,000. I was like, I'm never going to get 15,000. But just over time, your team builds. Your weak leg does end up catching up if you're consistent with your power hour, if you're consistent with inviting the business, and if you're helping your leaders on your team also build their business. So just want to piggyback on that. So I am following up with making the most of your time. And Melanie Measure did a couple talks, and she is our top coach in Beachbody world, and she was phenomenal. And she's a machine and has amazing systems in place. I love hearing from her. So she did a whole little seminar on making the most of your time. So I'm going to share my top things that I picked up from her. She shared a few quotes that really have stuck with me in my head that I've been able to speak to myself. The first one was, you can choose to rule the day, or the day can rule you. But if you write that down, that's something I've already put up on my bulletin board. So you can choose to rule the day, or the day can rule you. The next one is, how can I rearrange my schedule to make it work for me? And then, of course, there's the one that kind of gets under people's skin. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. And yes, some people are, full-time working mamas who have to make it work, but we all do have 24 hours. And she shared what she does that is so effective, because she's so busy. Obviously, she has people coming to her all the time, but she is still in those challenge groups. Like, just after hearing her talk, I'm like, she's doing exactly what Carl wants us to do. She's changing lives physically, which turns into an emotional change, which turns into people who are committed to sharing this with other people. So she started off by saying for a while, her schedule was all out of whack when she first started, but she had to do something. Number one, she had to change her routine. And the way she started doing that was setting her alarm at 5 a.m. because her boys didn't get up until, I think she has 2 boys, until 7:30 in the morning. So she realized in order for her to rule her day, she had to set the alarm for 5 a.m. and get up and not hit snooze and go for it. So the book that had a big impression on her was The Slight Edge. So if you haven't read that one, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Get it if you haven't read it. But The Slight Edge, basically, she pulled from that, like, you need to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do now, so that in 3 years, you can do what they wish they were doing. Basically, are you willing to do what other people aren't willing to do to get results in the end? That's one of the big quotes from The Slight Edge. I don't know what page. I don't have it right here. But if you haven't read that one, dig on in. It's great personal development. So she was very clear that she had to establish set business hours because her schedule was seeming a little out of whack. She mentioned how it was a struggle with her and her husband at some point, right, girls? And she was on her phone all the time answering messages, and she quickly realized she needed to do something to set boundaries in their life. And she talked about the buckets, how she has a family bucket. I wrote down what my buckets would be while she was talking, but family bucket, God bucket, business bucket, and then I even put like a me bucket because if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of anyone else. So she had to focus on making sure that her boundaries were set, especially on her business bucket. Like it couldn't, if they got out of whack, they'd end up spilling over and it, cause a big mess. So she said, focusing on what moved her business forward and setting those boundaries with her buckets, and recognizing what activities were time wasters really helped her move forward in her business. So number 2 is recognizing what the time wasting activities actually are. Some of those that might be familiar to you, I know they are to me, near and dear to my heart. Facebook scrolling. I mean, who does it? I mean, I do it. She said she even will allow herself to do it, but she needs to make sure that all her vital behaviors are covered first. So Facebook scrolling, leaving your notifications turned on and checking your notifications all day, turn them off. Turn them off. It's a huge time killer, especially, I don't know about you, but I get invited to parties all the time. So Facebook parties with like Lula Robe pants, which is cool, but like that pops up in my notification. I don't need to be checking that during my work hours. She doesn't check her inbox, her messages, unless it's a top priority. She also makes sure that she's not answering phone calls that are during her set business hours. And the other big one is hitting the snooze button on the alarm. And I feel like I need to be preaching this to myself because I'm the worst at getting up in the morning. I'm a night owl. But she said that, I don't know if she moved her stuff across the room to make sure that she was hopping out of bed and getting her workout clothes on. So after she realized what her time wasters are, or what those activities were, and she established her set business hours, she knew that at 5 a.m. it's go time. So her feet hit the floor and she's getting into her workout clothes because she needs to be proof that the product works. And she's going down to get her workout in, and as soon as she's done with her workout, she does this every morning, she runs. I remember her saying she runs upstairs, gets open her computer, and her vital behaviors are the first thing she works on. So she's not scrolling Facebook. She's not looking at her notifications. She's not even responding to messages. It's all about going through her power hour, opening conversations with 5 to 10 new people. I'm sure her numbers are enormous compared to what mine are, but 5 to 10 people. She's getting her business invites in. Not even looking. It's so hard. It's so tempting not to look through your messages, isn't it? I have the hardest time with that. But getting out those new business invites. And then what she said was for her personal development, it's always done audio. That it's done while she's emptying the dishwasher, while she's doing laundry, while she's in the car. So that's not something she's doing while she's sitting at her computer. So that's not one of the vital behaviors she'll work on right then. But her PD is always listened to. But that morning time from 5 to 7:30, she called it like a race against the clock. And, you know, how effective, she says to herself, how effective is what I'm doing right now going to be in building my business? I know for me right now, and I'm sure all of us will come to that point, it's so challenging to know how much we should be working on our own business versus working on working with our own coaches and our teams and building our teams. She still, as the #1 coach in this country, works 80% of her time on her personal business. That was like a shocker to me to hear that. So she is building her personal business 80% of her time, and then 20% of her time is spent with her team. So that being said, like, she had to set boundaries with when she was speaking to her coaches, and she often would make them come to the table with an assignment filled out to see if they finished their assignment to kind of earn her time, which that's fair. She's pouring into them. They need to prove that they are, you know, moving forward with their business and doing their power hour and recording their power hour. So 80% on her own building her business and 20% on working with her team. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to screen share right now, kind of the calendar layout. Sorry, hopefully this will work. Her calendar layout that she does for her team. Okay. Sorry, it's slow to load. But she does her team calendar, you know, ahead of time, and she shares it with her team. Can you all see this? Andrea, can you see that?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So this was the first thing I did when I got home from the conference, because I was like, this is doable. This is shareable with my team. So I, in Google Calendar, scheduled out my 5-day group, which is, you know, part of that 80% of building my business. And I scheduled out my 21-day group. And then I went ahead and I put in our team calls, which I just do twice a month, the first and last Monday of the month. And the new coach trainings all scheduled out, and the potential Emerald Push group if we have enough interest. So I think that it's just so great to be able to share with your teams what they can anticipate and how they can be sharing, you know, with potentials when they can get plugged into these trainings. So that was one thing, like, has these set in place and kind of builds her business around this calendar and is able to share. Oh, and then I have my What is Coaching webinar on the 10th. So she is big on using calendars. And, sorry, trying to figure out how to stop screen share. Is that good? Back to, okay. So making sure that her calendar is plotted off, and then she uses Acuity, which is a scheduler for working with her coaches. They have to schedule time with her, and she does little 10, 15-minute increments. So that's something you can think about as you're moving forward, building your business. So let me just review her thing. She has her calendar. She is up and at 'em early in the morning. She uses a scheduler for her coach calls. She picks 3 things from her master list of to-dos each day and tackles them. So it's not like she's trying to do everything at once. She picks the 3 things that she can focus on after she gets through her power hour. She makes sure that's done first. And she blocks off family time, which is so huge for us. It's so easy for the business to pour over into our family time. And that's something I need to probably work on is setting in my calendar, you know, like, I'm unavailable at this time. Like, this is my family time. Everything's off. And then, again, just to review, she focused on what the end result is and if the behaviors that she's doing are business-building activities. So just really cool to hear from the top coach and how she does things and how she makes this work. She says she only works, what did she say, like 30, what did she say, 30 hours a week? Andrea, isn't that what she said?
Yeah, when we figured it up, I think it was about that.
Yeah. So this girl's highly disciplined, and it's very inspiring to hear from her. So that's what I have from Melanie, and I'll hand it off to Andrea.
Okay, hey guys. I am Andrea Stevens, and so I am the leader of Transformation Nation. In terms of our team, Michelle Myers at the conference talked about being Beachbody old because she's been coaching for like 7 years. So in terms of our team, aside from Megan, I think I figured out today that I'm the Beachbody old girl. I started coaching, I believe, just a few months before Jen and Katie and Stephanie and the other leaders on this team. So I was trying to think of, I feel like I should have so much more wisdom to share, but fortunately I don't. I get to, I'm sharing from Melanie Mitro, and she is a machine. So we talked about how she budgets her time. The other piece that she shared at the NLC was recruiting, how to create a recruiting culture, and it really knocked my kind of socks off, as did her planning time or budget, how to budget your time, because I shared that those are probably my 2 weakest areas. I don't do the greatest, truthfully, and I'm very transparent with my team on budgeting my time, and so that was very impactful for me. But the thing that was the most impactful for me of all was by far her talk about how to develop a recruiting culture. And so that's what I'm going to share with you guys tonight. So you want to make sure you have something to write down, because this is kind of the meat of the call. I'm not exactly sure. I have something in my mouth, literally hair. So I'm not exactly sure how long I have, Meg, to share this, but if you need me to stop, just call out. I'm going to try to hit as much as I can. She started out by mentioning that at our level, at the New Leader Conference, that we are not recruiting, we are no longer recruiting for warm bodies, but that we are recruiting to succeed. And while I know that everybody on this call is at a totally different stage of your business, that really resonated with me, because I, probably more than anyone else on this call or on this team, have a strong, I tend to recruit a lot of discount coaches. I talked to Jen and Katie about this at the conference. That's actually probably one of my strengths. I can recruit people and I can sign people up with Coach Challenge Packs well, but I struggle to find, at times, can struggle to find those people that really want to be working coaches. And so Melanie shared that. A top struggle for coaches is to find working coaches. And that is one of my goals for the year, and one of the things that I find for sure So she said that any successful business, every successful business has a well thought out marketing plan, and that it takes a plan, and you need a plan to recruit a team. And so that's kind of what we're going to dig into tonight. So she talked about how we want to recruit. You want to figure out what your niche is. This is also something that I haven't taken a ton of time to do, and I've been coaching for over 2 years. So if you're new to this business, this is such a great opportunity for you to really take these tips in now and try to learn to apply them, because I thought it was personally profound when I was literally like writing as fast as I could. You should see my notebook, it's all scribbled. She asks 5 questions when she is trying to figure out how to bring people in and to figure out what her niche is. The first question is, who is your target audience or customer? Okay, who is your target audience or customer? She says you want to attract people like you. So, are you attracting moms? I'm a mom. My house looks like a hot mess right now, and that is the truth. Like, I am the definition of a hot mess express today. I've got Valentine boxes behind here. We're leaving for Disney tomorrow night. I've got, my kid has a book report tomorrow. My house is a disaster. Normally I would have tried to clean it up, but I didn't have time before getting on this webinar. So are you attracting moms? Are you a former teacher? I personally was. What are your interests? Melanie talks about that she likes to be a professional napper. So share about that. Share those things that make you you. Are you a professional napper? Do you love to shop? Are you a do-it-yourself DIY type person? Scrapbooker, churchgoer, whatever that is that makes you you. Like, or what are your interests? Are you in healthcare? You need to figure out all of those things first, and that is going to be your target audience or customer. Okay, second question. How will you be introduced to or approach those people? Okay, and this one I think can be a little bit hard, but how will you be introduced to or approach those people? She talked about how she's very behind the scenes. She's not one to be super social and go out and find people out at the supermarket or at the play date or at parties or church groups or Group X classes. She's more behind the scenes. So Pinterest, she does a lot of work on Pinterest where she will try to connect with people on different boards or Facebook groups. She's definitely more behind the scenes. But if you're more of a person that likes to go out and do those things, how are you going to meet up with them? Preschool play date, whatever. How are you going to meet those moms or those people that meet your niche? That's your second question to ask yourself. Your third question is, what are their biggest burdens and the problems that they face? And I thought this was the one that I really resonated with me. What are their biggest burdens and what are the problems that they face? So, is their burden their weight, their fitness, their current level of physical fitness, or their personal health? Finances, are they living paycheck to paycheck? Are they struggling to make ends meet? Do they need more freedom to be home more with their children? Do they struggle with their 9-to-5 job and never see their families? Or do they travel a lot for work and they need more freedom? Do they need more freedom to have more money to go and travel? Do they need more fun in their life? Perhaps their business is their job that they currently have is not fun for them. So what is their biggest burden or problem that they face? Okay, that's number 3. Number 4 is, how do you intend to affect those, and or how can you solve their problems? Okay, we at Beachbody have the complete solution, okay? And I really think that a lot of times we only focus on the physical, which is amazing. I personally do that too, where we have the physical solution. We have, we have the exercise solution, the 30-minute at-home workouts that are phenomenal. I'm personally a fitness instructor, as is Megan, yet you have used Beachbody programs for years. We're both personal trainers, but there's a reason that we use these programs. They work. and they are so simple to follow, and they're enjoyable. So we have the exercise solution, we have the nutrition problem, the solution to better health, Shakeology, and our meal plans, and we have the coaching and the accountability, but we also have the solution of financial freedom. Some of you that are on this call, many of you probably are newer coaches, so perhaps you haven't had the time yet to experience what this business can do. But like Jen said, if you just consistently get those fundamentals down, the financial opportunity and the financial gains will be there for you. And so we have all of that solution for people. But how are you going to solve their problem? Maybe the problem is they don't like their job. So your solution is to give them something that maybe they're passionate about, fitness, and they would love to do fitness instead, or they need to lose weight and get healthy. That was Melanie Mitro's. Her two struggles was her weight. She was postpartum, struggling with getting her weight off, and she had left her job to be a stay-at-home mom, and so they were living paycheck to paycheck. She said they were getting by, but they were not comfortable, and there was no fluff in their budget. And so when she started coaching, she realized that financial opportunity was there for her, and she took advantage of it, and she certainly has. Do they want to travel? Well, Beachbody has that solution. The Success Club trips. Jen, Katie, and I just got to go to Los Angeles, all expense paid, once we got out there, and it was one of the best trips of my entire life, by far my favorite Beachbody trip, and I even went to Cancun. But it was a blast, and we learned so much. But, do they want to travel and see the world? That is something that I really personally was not even expecting out of this, but this year I went to Cancun, we went to Nashville, we went to LA, places that I've never been before. Do they just want to have fun? Okay, this is fun. Our team is fun. Coaching is fun. Do you need those friendships? Personally, for me, I have identified that my main issue was A, losing the weight after the baby when I joined, and B, that I desperately needed friendships. I needed people around me. So Beachbody has given me that solution, and that is what I want to share with other moms. That's my niche market. Okay, number 5. What makes your offer better than your competitors? Okay, so we are all now coaches, so likely your newsfeed is saturated with tons of information and tons of coaches that are recruiting, and maybe you see the biggest coaches. You see Megan, you see Lindsay Matway, you see Melanie Mitro, and you think, how can I possibly compete with those people? But the thing that Melanie says, and I agree with, is that you have you, and it's your job to share you. So what's your offer? You may not be Melanie Mitro, but you still have Coach Basics. You have the resources on all of our teams. If you're on this call tonight, you're either in Megan's of course you're in Megan's downline, but you have the Team Phoenix resources. You have Katie's and the Team Alive resources. You have Jen's and the Team Fitwell resources. You have mine and the Transformation Nation resources. And guess what? We all share. So you have, and we are a 2-time elite team with Team Phoenix. So you are already part of an amazing organization that you should be proud and excited to invite people into. So you do have, your offer is better than your competitors. But perhaps you are the fun girl, okay? Perhaps people are going to be looking to you that are that more yellow personality. They want to come to you because you're fun. Okay, you're fun. My coach Mandy is fun. Okay, people are going to respond to her that might not necessarily relate more to me. Okay, so maybe that's why your offer is better than someone else, that you're going to have fun. Or perhaps you are one of those people that really values relationships, and like me, I'm a blue, so I may say I'm only accepting 5 people into my new coach training this month so that I can give you that one-on-one attention. My offer might relate more to you if that's who you are. Or if you're more of a red personality, I'm going to give you a step-by-step system in place, and then therefore, whenever you join my team, you're going to have everything laid out for you, and you're going to have steps to follow, a step-by-step system that has helped me be successful. Whatever that looks like, you have you. You need to be talking about that and sharing about that. So that's those 5 questions on finding your niche market. Then, once you have done that, the shift of Melanie's presentation went to, okay, well, I know what my niche market is, and I know what I have to offer, and I know what my potential, my avatar challenger / coach that I want to recruit, and I know what her burdens are, and I know how I can help with her solutions, or his. But the next step is to create that plan. Remember, every well-run or successful business has a marketing plan. So she shared with us what her calendar looks like. I am not going to screen share. I am probably the most technologically illiterate person on the call tonight, and I wasn't even going to go there. I had a hard enough time just getting into this call. So, but I can share with you in the team some of the resources that we got, and one of them was what her schedule looks like. But she creates a monthly marketing plan, okay? And how she does that is she sets up her month very strategically. She's a machine, and that's the way that her month runs. But what she'll do is she'll schedule her month, and she focuses on recruiting at the end of the month, just what she does. But she'll create, and before she launches, she personally is a blogger. So she'll talk about her new coach apprenticeship program, or her Coach Basics training that is starting in a few weeks, and that's kind of how she launches it. She creates a YouTube trailer. She'll create images that go along with it. She'll set up her business opportunity call. She sets a theme. And so she talked about her themes that she runs for her niche market are busy moms build a business, okay? Or she'll do like make fitness your business. She'll have a theme, and she'll stay among a couple different ones, and she changes it up to hit more and more people. But she'll tweak everything around whatever her theme is for that month, and then she'll set dates for her sneak peek, and then it's time to go live with it. And so she'll use the blog post, she'll share on Facebook and Instagram. She embeds a coach application, which you've probably seen Megan's posts, where she has a business opportunity presentation, and then she embeds a coach application there. But this is the key. She posts about it daily for 1 to 2 weeks. And I don't know about you, but I don't post about recruiting very much. And I think the reason why is because it's taken me a long time to figure out how I wanted to portray what Beachbody has done for me, and what I'm looking for, and why I want to share about that, and how I want to bring people in. I've been scared, even at my level and my rank, to really put myself out there and recruit, because how's it going to be perceived? Perhaps you can relate to that. My personal story is I've always stayed home with my children. I've been very fortunate that I'm able to do that. So the financial freedom isn't really what is important to me. I'm thankful for the opportunity, but that's not what brought me in. Just like the freedom to be home, with my children, wanting to leave my job, I didn't have to do that. I was able to be home with my children. My reason for this is that I needed some more fulfillment. I needed something that I could call my own. I needed those relationships that I was so desperately craving, being that blue personality type. So that is going to be my theme moving forward. But she talks about it, and she posts daily for 1 to 2 weeks. And they point to her blog post. You don't have to have a blog. I don't have a blog. Katie doesn't have a blog. Jen doesn't have a blog. But my point is, she posts about it daily. And so many of us throw out one recruiting post, and it gets like 2 likes from your downline, and Katie's going to like my post, and Jen's going to like my post, and Stephanie's going to like my post, and some of my coaches are going to like my post, and that's it, right? And then I have like 5 likes, and I don't know about you, but it scares me. Like, we don't want to put it out again, but that is what is going to attract more and more people. Recruiting with confidence, right? So you can't just put it out there one time and then say, well, it didn't work. No one was interested in joining my team. It's consistency over time, just like anything else. A slight edge, compound effect, okay? So she posts about it a lot. So she talks about leading business opportunity calls. That is not really necessarily something that we need to focus on tonight. Megan leads a business opportunity call. We were all, Jen, Katie, and I were all challenged at the New Leader Conference to begin leading our own, and we've talked about that. And so your upline Star Diamond Coach will handle this for you now. But it's never too early for you. If you are a go-getter and you are ready to go and do that, I think that is amazing. That you should absolutely be starting to do that. But the biggest thing that you need to remember with recruiting is that you want to have confidence. One thing that they focused on out there at the New Leader Conference was that recruiting is fun. It's fun. And I personally don't know that I would have thought about that way before. I love my team. I love the people that I have brought into my team, but recruiting still, even for me, has that kind of scary, that scary feeling about it, and that's why, I mean, I'm so proud of my leaders, but I've been able to bring people in and then have had to develop them more than really going after and recruiting for success. So I think if we can change our mindset now that recruiting is fun, you think of it this way, a couple different ways. First of all, think of the fact that if your coach had never invited you, okay, to this opportunity, what that would look like for you. I personally can't imagine what my life would be like now after a little over 2 years as a Beachbody coach if Megan hadn't invited me. So that helps too. But also, you know, if you think about the fact that it's fun and that you get to bring in your best friends, your business partners, the people that you get to do life with, the people that you get to spend a lot of time with, that is, if we can shift our mindset to that it's fun and we can go after those people in our niche market that we are going to love to work with. They say that you should be working with those people that light your soul on fire to work with. And I am so fortunate that with my team, I have that. I have those people that light my soul on fire to work with, as does Katie, as does Megan, as does Jen. We really are really close as coaches. And that, so when I think about it that way, it makes me excited to go out and find those people. I want to give those people that opportunity. Melanie gave us a takeaway of what we should be hoping for, and I don't necessarily know that all of it is relevant to you. We kind of struggled with how much do we want to present and how, because I certainly don't want to overwhelm you, but the purpose of this recruiting portion of the call is to kind of change our mindsets and see that recruiting can be fun. We just need to go after those people that are the most like us. And so we're not talking about Michelle Myers' talk tonight, but I loved one of her analogies, and I was going to share that with you guys. And she talked about the best way to bring people in is to attract them, bait them in with a purpose. You know, what's your purpose? She said a discount coach or someone that, you know, isn't interested in, you know, that comes in only for the programs or products might leave you after a couple months, and that is for certain. But if you can bring people in and use the good bait, she talked about how she's from the South, and I'm from West Virginia, so I personally loved this. She talks about bluegill, how like you can bait them. She's baited them with like spit and a Tupperware container that like you don't have to use anything fancy or any good bait to bait them in. But the best fish, those awesome fish, you have to use like the really, really, really good bait for. And she said if you can use that, whatever your purpose is, if you can bring people into your organization and attract them with a purpose, then they'll never leave you. And I do believe that. And so your kind of takeaway tonight is to figure out what your purpose is. What does this business do for you? And that, I think, will help light you up to help you better figure out how you want to go about recruiting and who you want to bring into your organization. So that's kind of very quickly the basis of Melanie's recruiting culture call. So I'm going to kind of send it back to Megan if she's there now, and see where we are. There she is.
Hey, hang on 1 second. Sorry, it kind of caught me off guard.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was putting the kids down, but I just kind of stayed in the room with the earbuds. And they're asleep, but I was just kind of like still sitting there enjoying the silence. All right. Guys, thank you so much. I know Jen had to head off. Jen, congratulate Jen. They just got they're buying a house all of a sudden. Like yesterday, they put an offer in and got it, and now she has to sell her house like right now. So she had to head off and take care of stuff. So I appreciate her taking that time. Oh, it's bright. And you guys for sharing with us what you learned. That was a lot of great content. It was really so. I know some of you new coaches might be like really overwhelmed with some of this information. It's a little bit much to take in, and that's okay. Like I remember when I was a new coach, and I just like gobbled up new coach or training calls. I was listening to all Christine Dwyer, which is our upline. She had a website with all her recordings, and there was just I just remember like consuming all these calls. I was doing this, and I was nursing a 1-year-old basically. Like that's how I listened to all these calls, and so much of it didn't pertain to anything I was doing now. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like tuck it back because someday I'll need it. So if you find yourself like, whoa, just don't worry. Like it just at some point you're gonna need, it's gonna make sense to you, or you're gonna have to, come back to this call. That being said, there are in the files section of Team Phoenix group, or the Team Phoenix group page, there is a team call library. So the YouTube links to all of the team calls that we've had. I might have lost some of my beginning calls, but the last year at least, a couple of calls, guys, this is valuable information. Our team has covered a lot of topics. Obviously, there's also YouTube if you have topics that you're still wanting to learn about, but please access the wisdom, the wealth of wisdom and knowledge from previous calls there. But great information, and thank you so much, guys, for sharing that with us. And I'm gonna let you guys all off and say thank you. Are there any questions? I'll make sure there's no questions. The chat window over here, guys, on the right. If you don't, if you want to address any of this specifically that, well, Katie and Andrea were talking about, you're welcome to use that chat option. That was some great stuff on recruiting. I definitely feel like I could learn a lot from that, and that time management piece for sure. I'm sure we all can take away.
Yeah, it was great, and it was overwhelming for us. Okay, so know that it was overwhelming for those of us that are there, and it is very relevant for where we are in our businesses. So pick a piece that spoke to you, and perhaps it's more the recruiting piece. Perhaps it's more working on your own niche market for now. Figuring out what you are and who you are and what you who you'd like to attract in. I mean, I think that's the first piece for sure, and don't allow it to get overwhelming.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't want to make this any longer, but that she brought up a great point there. And I had this conversation with one of my coaches today. She asked me, I guess I had a post that was like, I'm looking for 5 to 10 women who are looking to do this, and it was semi-specific. And I remembered when she asked me that, do you always do that? I'm like, no, I don't. But then I recalled when I did that, I actually got a great response and a more committed group. And I think that's kind of along the same lines as what Andrea is saying. When you're pretty specific about who you are targeting, then your recruiting posts and any other message that you share on social media and beyond is going to sound a certain way because it's going to be speaking to that person. Do you know what I mean? So when I say I am looking for 5 to 10 moms who are looking to lose those last 5 to 15 pounds, does that mean if a woman who is not a mom that has 25 pounds isn't welcome? No, but they're like, wait, that's me, and I need to be a part of that.
So when you are specific about your target, you are going to not, you're thinking you're narrowing your base of customers. You might be narrowing the numbers, but you're going to reach farther into the people who are going to be more loyal to you and who are going to connect with you. And that's more important than the mass.
Yep.
Quality is so much more important than the quantity. I kid you not, the more specific I've gotten about my message and who I'm speaking to in general, the deeper connection I have, the more, like, our team has a very certain feel and culture because I've become more and more deliberate about what I'm trying to attract. So I encourage you to dig deep into that yourself and decide, you know, who is it that I'm really trying to reach? Who is my target? Who am I trying to speak to? And develop your message, and not just recruiting, but in general, your social media around that message. Okay, guys. Was she using only a like page on Facebook? Who are you talking about? Is she talking about who? Michelle or Andrea? Claudine, you are asking, was she using only a like page on Facebook?
Melanie, I probably see what she's asking about. They all use like pages on Facebook, but they all also use their personal pages, but they are very careful with how they do that. So, so in terms of, you know, they all boost ads, they all, you know, and these are top coaches. So again, like Megan said, I too, when we started, I would listen to all of those Platinum Presenters calls, and some things were so over my head. Like, I was like, what is going on here? But it comes with time, and it does. These are all things that are so so good for you to just kind of have a little bit of even a grasp on for now. But they all have like pages, and they do mostly comment and recruit on there, but they also stay very social and active on their personal page. So they don't target and really try to recruit and share a ton about Beachbody minus their workout selfies or things on their like pages, on their personal pages, but they all use both, as do I, although my like page is a struggle for me, but I use the like page as well, and as does Megan, of course.
Yeah. Good question. Okay, guys. Oh, I'm echoing. That's annoying. All right, I'm going to turn it off, and thank you again for being on the call. If you have a team that did not make it on the call, this link will be available in that team file section of the team page. So be sure that your team is on there and that you are accessing those resources that are available to you in the file section. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks again.
Bye, everybody.